After nearly 10 years of building my business and helping others build their fortunes, I have realized that there is one mistake that almost every single one of those businesses falls into that hurts their growth and marketing. And I will tell you now, it doesn't matter if you're small, big, new, or established, this applies to you and you need to pivot in this direction if you have any hope of growing past the point that you're currently at. If you are looking for some sort of AI gimmick, some sort of new viral hack, or some sort of new platform that's supposedly going to blow you up, you can skip off this video. If instead you're looking for something that works for any platform, that has been used for hundreds of years, and that is fundamentally built into how humans operate, that you can leverage to grow your business and broadcast your stuff to more people who want to buy, then stay with me here till the end of the video. Because the big thing that you're likely missing out on right now is you are not talking about your stuff and you are not doing so in the right language. Okay, so before you go into the comments and tell me how ads don't work for your business, or this social media platform you're posting all the time isn't getting results, or maybe how you just hired a new SEO agency, or you might not even be doing any of that. The reality is, the glorious truth, the big reveal is that there's only two paths when it comes to marketing, and this is one of your bottlenecks right now. Either you're not telling enough people about your stuff, or you are not using the right language. Now, if you can digest that for just a second, I want you to run through a serious thought exercise with your business. The first exercise we need to run through, which will provide context for everything else moving forward, is called outlet mapping. Right now, you're probably broadcasting your business on many different platforms or using different techniques to reach new people. When it comes down to it, it could be Facebook pages, it could be good old-fashioned cold calling, it could be LinkedIn DMs, just somewhere where you're trying to generate customers. What we want to do is map out each and every single one of these in a list right now. Once we have our list compiled, we want to start to think about ranking each one of these platforms, meaning which one of them is most likely to get you new customers and which one of them is least likely. Which one of these do we have to spend the least amount of time and resources to get people? Which one of these do my customers already hang out on or already resonate with or already communicate that way? Or ultimately, which one of these does my offer and my value come across most clearly? Let's start with the most basic one. You're not telling enough people about your stuff. Because if you look at your list and only see a very small amount of outlets, it better be because those outlets are absolutely killing it at generating you customers. If they're not, then let's face it, in a world full of instant gratification, different things all competing for your attention, and newer, faster, fancier things that are trying to be sold to you, we have to create content, we have to run ads, we have to be proactive if we want to find people. And what happens with a lot of businesses, especially new ones, is that they think by building a website, opening a storefront, or maybe going to one networking event, that suddenly they're going to see crazy growth. Whereas the first place that 99% of people go and look up when they have a problem, YouTube. Start there. If you can post one video a week just talking about your stuff and in a way that makes sense to your customer, meaning you're actually giving value, don't just post ads on a channel, but you're saying it in a way that makes sense. The biggest mistake I see at this stage is people going straight to paid advertising. Whether it's Meta, Google, LinkedIn, they say, oh, it didn't work for me. And I'll tell you why that is. It's because you don't have a validated business plan, meaning your offer doesn't make sense, your target doesn't make sense, or people just don't even understand what it is, which we'll be talking about the language problem later. Write out your buyer persona. What is their age? What is their gender? What is their spending power, their hobbies? Understand where they already hang out. Because the reality is, if you're selling to a particular type of person from the get-go, they probably already live on a preferred platform. Maybe they prefer phone communication. Maybe they prefer hanging out on Facebook. Maybe they prefer going in person to an event. Once you start to do more, then you can move on to doing better. What we're trying to do now is to just start to expand our opportunities. If that means going from 1 cold call a month to 10 cold calls every week, then you can expect a proportional rise in revenue and growth. The other obstacle that you might be encountering is that the language you're using just simply doesn't make sense to the customer you're trying to go after, or ultimately you might be going after the wrong type of customer. Let's talk about that. The second and most common marketing bottleneck is that you're using the wrong language to talk to your customers, which, by the way, if you're a business and you're struggling to generate customers, then you can actually solve that by clicking the link in the pinned comment or the description. Now, what this boils down to is two different things. The first scenario is that people understand what you do, but you're still selling a job title or a commodity, basically. Then what ends up happening is they compare you to everybody else who ultimately has that same title or that same product category, because they're going to look at it, and even though they understand it, there's really no compelling reason to choose you out of everybody else in the market who does that. Basically, they don't understand why you're better. Or the other option is they have no idea what your job title is or no idea what your product could do, no idea why it matters to them. People don't understand what it can do for them, why it matters, or why they should even consider it. Then you're just basically barking up the wrong tree. Now, to solve this, what I want you to do is to look at all of your outlets and forget for a second who you are. Pretend you're the type of person who you want to sell your thing to. Look at all your different posts, your emails, your website, your content, your copyright, your text, your language, anything that is related to your business, and ask yourself, if you were your customer and you didn't know who you were, you didn't have the skills, you didn't have the knowledge and the background, would you buy from yourself? You need to think, speak, and act like your customer does. Because if you're banking on them even understanding what it is that you do and why it matters, you need to solve that problem first. Sell the transformation, sell the outcome, sell what they're gonna look like and feel like on the other side of this experience. What makes it compelling? Does your offer make sense? Do you seem more valuable than the other option? Start talking about what impact you can bring to my life, the customer. Why are you better? What transformation can I expect? And how are you ultimately going to guide me on this journey? Because if that is not conveyed anywhere, then unfortunately you have no competitive advantage, and you need to start seriously thinking about how to bring that out. And now to recap, if you feel like marketing's never worked for you, or you don't even know what next step to take, you're in one of these two buckets right now, meaning that you either need to do more, and then you can move on to doing better. What you want to do is first and foremost, look at what outlets your target customer could be hanging out on. Basically, where do the people who buy your stuff already live, and start to go into those channels. Do more in those. Broadcast more, create more content, talk about your stuff, cold call more people. Then you can move on to the next stage, which is doing better. Once you start to see performance from a select few outlets, figure out usually what the top 3 or 5 are and just double down on those. If you can improve the language that you use, then you will start to see better results from the same time or monetary investment. At the end of the day, we're not selling to people who are like us. We're selling to people who have a problem, who are not us, that we need to solve. And if they don't understand how we can get them from point A to point B, then unfortunately everything falls flat. And every single time I see this, it's because you're communicating like you're selling to yourself, but you are not doing that. So I hope that this video was valuable to you. I hope it gave you some insights and a little bit of direction on how to amplify your marketing and get strangers to actually start buying your stuff. I put out a video like this every single week, so be sure to subscribe and make sure to comment with any things and any obstacles that you're running into with your business right now, and I'll be sure to answer them. But until then, I'll see you next time.